Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm John Sable, here with Darren Ganji, and today we're reviewing the Logitech G920 driving force wheel and pedal set for the Xbox One. And this is a really important wheel for the industry because it's the first wheel by Logitech for any of the Xbox generations.
That's right, and the wheel and pedal set's going to retail for $399 and going to be available October 15th. And if you want the shifter, it's going to be an additional $60.
While the wheel is compatible with the Xbox One and PC, today we're only going to look at it on the Xbox One.
But before we get to how it performs, we're going to take a look at what you get in the G920 package. Not going to go over the shifter today because we're going to do a standalone piece on that because it's compatible with the G29 and the G920. So now let's take a look at the wheel and pedals.
If you're having deja vu by looking at this wheel, it's not because you're crazy. The G920 looks very similar to its PlayStation 4 counterpart, the G29.
Unfortunately for the G920, the most notable difference is what it lacks. The wheel doesn't have the shift lights that the G29 and even the G27 before it had. But to be fair, these lights have never really been that useful because they're below your field of view.
A more impactful missing feature on the G920 though is the missing 24-point selection dial and button and the plus-minus button, both of which come in handy for making adjustments while driving on the G29.
Naturally, the G920 comes with the Xbox guide button, but it also features an extremely bright white power indicator LED that is blinding if you look anywhere near the wheel. It's out of your field of view while driving, but we have a feeling most owners will be solving it by putting a piece of tape.
Also of note is the G920 does not have a controller pairing LED for Kinect like say the Thrustmaster TX. Not that it will be missed as support for the Kinect continues to dwindle.
You know what, speaking of which, before we continue, I've always wondered what that Kinect pairing even did.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make too much sense or a difference for a driving game.
Well, and you don't need it.
No.
So I'm wondering if any pairing ever actually took place between it. Anyway, I don't even know what that was for, to be honest. Hey, if you know, let us know in the comments here, because I'm interested in knowing why the TX has that. I guess I should ask our Thrustmaster contact, too.
Or that. The only other cosmetic difference between the G29 and G920 is a different color scheme, with the G920 matching the off-white of the Xbox logo versus the bright blue of the G29. Honestly, we prefer the subdued color scheme of the G920 as it appears classier versus the Boy Racer looking G29.
I like how you worded that, the Boy Racer. That's a good fit for that wheel.
It looks like a giant rear spoiler is put on the back of it.
Exactly. Good. That's well put. As for the internals, Logitech sticks with their tried and true helical gearing dual motor force feedback system, which debuted on the G27. Logitech says that they have updated the system with a Hall effect steering sensor for better long-term reliability. The G920 also features 900 degrees of rotation and automatically calibrates on startup.
The pedals are the exact same pedals that came with the G29. This means they also received the brake mod upgrade over the G27, which uses a rubber stop to mimic a pressure-sensitive brake system, providing a more responsive braking feel. Unfortunately, Logitech kept the same 8-bit controller as the G27, providing a barely acceptable 256 steps of resolution. The pedal faces can also be adjusted left or right to improve heel-to-toe braking or to improve ergonomics. Now that we've looked at the wheel and pedals, let's see how they performed on the most popular titles on the Xbox One.
First up was Forza Motorsport 6. Overall, the G920 did pretty well with Forza 6. Not only was the wheel and pedals compatible, but so was the add-on driving force shifter. The G920 still suffers from the on-center force feedback dead zone that the geared force feedback system has always suffered from, but the issue doesn't affect you much in Forza 6.
Going back in Forza history, we also tried out Forza Horizon 2 and Forza Motorsport 5. Both titles have significantly less force feedback than Forza Motorsport 6, and the difference was really felt with the G920. While we were able to get a little more force feedback feel with the Thrustmaster TX, the less powerful G920 struggled to translate much force feedback, especially in Forza Horizon 2. This result is more of a reflection on the games than the G920, but the so-so power of the force feedback motor doesn't help.
Next, we transition to Codemasters F1 2015, where the wheel felt its best, actually. Unlike other wheels, with F1 2015, the G920 worked right out of the box without any changes to the linearity or saturation of the wheel and pedals. Performance-wise, the only negative was some slight vibration of the wheel at high speeds, which is a long-time staple of this motor. But overall, this is a minor issue. The rest of the time, the wheel felt really good, providing really positive force feedback and accuracy.
Lastly, we drove the wheel with Project Cars. Slightly Mad Studios and Logitech have worked together on the development of the wheel, so to no surprise, the game not only recognized the wheel and shifter, but had all the buttons mapped nicely. Force feedback in Project Cars felt good, but in faster cars, the on-center dead zone became quite apparent. This made it difficult to accurately place the car on track and hit your marks. We tried to adjust the dead zone out in the in-game settings, but that didn't help either.
Before we get to the pros and cons, a little bit more on the pedals. Even with Logitech sticking to the 8-bit controller, the only time it was an issue was for the test drive we did with the 2015 Lotus F1 car in Forza Motorsport 6. The ultra torquey car requires a very smooth throttle, and it was a real struggle to do so with these pedals. On the other hand, the new brake mod does feel really positive, providing good feedback from engagement to the hard stop.
Now on to the pros and cons, and first up the cons. Our first con is the gear-driven motor that isn't as smooth or as strong as the competition. The next con is large on-center force feedback dead zone.
The loss of buttons when compared to the G29 is also a con, as well as the blindingly bright power indicator LED.
We would have liked to seen higher resolution in the pedals, because the 8-bit pedal resolution isn't doing it. And lastly, the wheel and pedal set is a little pricey at $399.99.
So that's going to do it for the cons. Now on to some pros, and the first pro is, this is the first Logitech option for the Xbox One. And having all the navigation buttons right on the steering wheel is really nice.
Another pro is the positive feeling paddle shifters. Also, the G920 is just better looking than the G29.
Last two pros, solid pedals, especially the brake, and should be durable since it's a Logitech product, as they are known for longevity.
So there are the pros and cons. Darren, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great to see, and it's one of those last pros, I think it's great to see the Logitech wheel and pedal set on the Xbox One. Long time coming. I mean, I know that the community's been asking for a Logitech offering on the Xbox. People have been using adapters to get that compatibility on the Xbox, and it's never really cut the mustard. So it's great to have a wheel that is fully compatible on the Xbox One. And it's a win-win for all of us and for the community, because now it creates more competition for companies like Thrustmaster and Fanatec, which, again, it's a win-win for all of us.
Exactly.
So what about you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like our G29 review we previously did. Again, the G920 is another solid wheel and solid option if you're an Xbox One owner. Like the G29, there's a few things that would have liked to see an upgrade a little more. The braking resolution.
Yep. Overall pedal resolution.
Overall pedal resolution. The internal motor with the wheel, it's still a bit, rough and gear-like.
I will say this too, something we didn't really touch on, is that this doesn't seem as chattery as the G29.
It doesn't.
It seems a little, the gear drive seems a little more dampened.
It does.
And I guess where I really noticed it the most was in F1 2015. Mm-hmm. Taking the car off track in F1 2015, you get in the G29, you're getting that that chattery. Where this one has it, but it's not as pronounced. Mm-hmm. It's not as, both in the feeling and, the sound is definitely not as loud, but you're not feeling as much chattery. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, no, that is a really good point. It does seem like maybe Logitech got kind of some of the early impressions of the G29 back and went, well, maybe we need to do a couple little tweaks to 920.
Yeah, it sure seems like that. Mm-hmm. We're also going to be doing a piece on the PC with this wheel. It seems like all the compatibility wasn't there yet. As a matter of fact, Logitech just reached out to me today that they are working on a new driver. Again, this wheel is not going to be out until next month.
Correct.
So they're still working on finalizing the driver. So that also tells me that there's a difference between this and the G29. Because G29 worked on everything.
Yes. On
the PC, out of the box, where this does not yet. I know, again, they're working on it. Again, I talked to somebody from Logitech just today, asked us if we wanted, by the way, did I tell you they wanted to see if we wanted the beta
of
the
really?
driver? Yeah. So we'll get that, we'll check it out, and give you guys full in-depth on the PC as well, like we did with the G29. But yeah, I'd say there's definitely some differences between this, besides just the look and the buttons. The pedals are identical.
Yes.
I'm talking G29, but there's definitely, it seems, a difference in the internals.
So besides reviewing this wheel on the PC, it's also going to be in our Xbox One buyer's guide review, where we're going to take it against a whole bunch of different wheels and kind of show you all the options for the Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly. We did one for the Xbox 360 and for Gran Turismo 5 back in the day, and it went over really well. We've been asked to do it again, so we're going to do it now that there's so many options on the Xbox One. We figured, why not?
Exactly. And besides that buyer's guide, we're also going to probably look at taking head-to-head against the Thrustmaster TX, since they're pretty much head-to-head competition.
Same price point. You know what? While I was thinking about that while we were off camera, should we conclude the Mad Catz wheel? Because it originally started at the same exact price point. So maybe we should include that. The Fanatic's kind of priced out of its range.
It is.
And mechanically it's out of its range.
Yes.
It's definitely in a category of all its own, but it'll be included in that buyer's guide for sure.
Correct. So I think that's about it for our review of the G920 driving force wheel and pedal set for the Xbox One. For Darren Ganji, I'm John Sable. Thanks for watching Inside Sim Racing. We'll see you next time.